What is up, YouTube? I'm Shaquille Almarinas, and I'm so excited to finally get my channel started. Here we're going to be talking about basketball, and for anybody that knows me, knows that I can talk about basketball literally all day long. Drives my girlfriend crazy, so I figured, hey, I might as well just start a YouTube channel and talk you guys to death instead. So we're gonna jump right in and we're gonna go Lakers versus Nets. That's right, we're talking about the finals already. Everybody knows that's gonna be the final two teams standing, assuming that everybody is healthy. So I want you guys to go down to the comment section and let me know who you think is gonna win the finals out of those two teams. Or if you think that there's gonna be another team that's gonna win the finals instead. For me though, it's gonna be the Lakers. If you guys can tell, already a huge Laker fan, got my Kobe poster there, had to rock the Kobe jersey as the very first video, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta represent out here. So I have to preface everything with what I'm saying, that I am a Lakers fan, just so you guys already know that there is that slight bias there, but I try to make sure that my videos will be unbiased, and if I do have biased opinions, I'll be letting you guys know. So the reason why I'm picking the Lakers to win is because it's gonna be a difficult path for them to get to the finals, right? We already know that this is a brand new team that is getting assembled together. Russell Westbrook, all of the other pieces that they're bringing in who really could be starting caliber players for other teams. So we know that all of these players are going to have to figure out a way to mesh with each other, right? That's going to be the big key piece for them this season, and I think they're really going to struggle early on in the season because of that. The Lakers start out the season, a large chunk of the season, playing home games, so I think that's going to help, but it's not going to be enough to overcome these chemistry issues. This is a completely new situation for them all, and Russell Westbrook is a really big piece to try to incorporate onto this team. On top of that, he's not a shooter as well. So the floor spacing is really gonna kind of hurt for the Lakers, but we're talking about them getting to the finals. So if we're assuming that they're getting to the finals, I'm assuming that they've also figured out their chemistry issues, which is what was gonna be the biggest piece towards, I think, hindering them as a team overall. I think Anthony Davis is going to have an MVP caliber season. Now, I don't think he's actually gonna win MVP. Keep a lookout for my video on MVPs later on. But I think that last year, that is actually what I expected out of him. I thought that he was going to be, a top 5 candidate for MVP, and that just ended up never taking place. He started the season out, he started playing like garbage, to be honest. I think he only averaged about 21 points a game, about 7 rebounds a game, which are very subpar Anthony Davis level numbers. We know that Anthony Davis is a bona fide superstar in this league, and we know that he has the potential to be a top 5 player in this league, but last season just wasn't it. He was inefficient, which is totally unlike Anthony Davis, right? He's one of the PER kings in the NBA, right? And he was just not playing well. I think that it was because he had the shortest offseason in NBA history, right? They finished the bubble, and then 2 months later, they're back playing again. And so I think the reason why Anthony Davis just wasn't prepared coming into last season was, one, the super short offseason, but then on top of that, he's literally never gone that deep into the playoffs before. So having such an offseason was even more heightened because of that fact, right? Prior to the finals in the bubble, Anthony Davis had played in the league 7 years and only made it to the playoffs twice, right? And in both of those playoffs, he lost in the first round to the Warriors, and then the second time he made it to the playoffs, then they got eliminated again by the Warriors in the second round. So the farthest that he's ever gotten out of the 7 years is the second round of the playoffs. And so when you take that into consideration, it really makes a lot of sense on why he just was not prepared. I don't think that AD has that kind of, I gotta go get it no matter what, right? I think that he went into, I won a championship, time to go into cruise control. And I think that's what ended up happening for him, and he just came into the season completely underprepared, which is the opposite of what it looks like this season, right? You look at AD, he's not yoked, right? We're not talking about he turned into Giannis Antetokounmpo overnight or something, but he's pretty jacked, right? He clearly added on about 10, maybe 15 pounds of muscle over the offseason. So he is definitely prepared and ready to play this season. Another reason why I think the Lakers are gonna win is just because of LeBron James. I don't know why so many people are thinking that LeBron is not going to be the same player that he's always been, right? I mean, sure, there's some decline. He's not able to turn it on like he used to. You know, he can't just go out and drop 50 points, you know, at will, right? And so from that point of view, okay, LeBron isn't the same LeBron that he used to be, but he's still a top 5 player in this league. And I think that after this season, he still has the opportunity to prove that he still is the best player in this league, right? His body might have slowed down, but his mind has more than picked up for that. He knows how to read offenses. He knows how to read defenses. And he just knows what's the right play to make in what situation. The thing is that we take a look at last year, right? And then he gets injured. And during the regular season, that is, right? He's a top MVP candidate, gets injured, comes back, is kind of so-so, right? Kind of like his first year with the Lakers. And then he goes into the playoffs, AD gets injured, and it's a wrap from there, right? And so we never really get to see LeBron take it deep into the playoffs and really turn on that extra gear. And I think that's what's gonna happen this year, assuming health. And so with the combination of LeBron, who's a top 5 player, with AD, who I presume will be a top 5 player by the end of this season, those two combined, I think, will help to offset what the Nets have with KD and Harden. Then we go down the line, right, and we take a look at Russell Westbrook. This is going to be the big question mark for this season. Now, I am personally super excited to have Russell Westbrook on the team. Like, I am all LA, go Russell Westbrook. He's from the area. We're rooting for you, man. But his game doesn't complement AD and LeBron James' game that well, right? It's not like we brought in Damian Lillard or Steph Curry who could just space the floor for them like crazy, right? LeBron James and Anthony Davis can shoot, but they're not shooters, right? Like, let's make that distinction very clear. They're around the mid to high 30 percentile for 3-pointers, right? You don't want them shooting 10 plus, 3-pointers a game. You don't really want them to be spacing out the floor for you. You want to have shooters to space the floor out for them so that they can take advantage for what's the best part of their game, which is getting to the basket. And Russell Westbrook just really doesn't fit that kind of mold. But where I think Russell Westbrook is really going to be able to help us out at is being able to give LeBron a break. Jesus, guys, I watch every single Laker game, and I can't tell you the amount of games where as soon as LeBron goes to the bench, it's done. You already know that, hey, our 10, our 15-point lead is gonna go away in the next 5 minutes because LeBron is not out on the floor. And now finally we have somebody else who can be a floor general, who we can run the offense through him, give LeBron a break, give Anthony Davis a break, and Russell Westbrook can really kind of run that offense with the other studs that we've gotten from the offseason acquisitions, like the Malik Monk, Kendrick Nuns, right, who can really, again, space the floor for Westbrook so he can basically do what he did on the Thunder and just carry the team, right? And so I think that is going to help really offset a lot of the issues that we've really had over the past couple of years. Is just not being able to have that extra person to really offset that load from our two superstars. And so that's really going to help propel them into the finals. And I think that's what's going to help, again, offset what the Nets can do. Now, I want to also preface, right, if anybody makes the argument that the Nets would beat the Lakers, although I did pick the Lakers, you guys aren't really going to hear an argument out of me against the Nets. I mean, the Nets look amazing with KD and Harden, and again, assuming that Kyrie Irving is going to be able to play this season and he gets vaccinated and all that, they're a scary team. We saw them last game, albeit in a few games, but when they were on the floor together, I mean, they just meshed so naturally, and that chemistry is such a key component, right? That's what we were talking about with the Lakers that they are lacking. It's that chemistry. And then on top of that too, they've already had a year to build that continuity. So they already know how to play with each other. Now it's just about actually being healthy enough to where they can get the time to play on the floor with each other. But again, my big belief is just that I just can't count against, or I can't bet against LeBron until I actually see him lose it in the finals. It's only when it's just so completely stacked against him that it's just like, all right, this just isn't happening, right? We're talking about, Warriors versus Cavs from years ago, right? Where it's just like, hey, KD on the Warriors, this is just too OP, no team in the league is gonna beat him, right? But now LeBron also has a very similarly stacked team where, again, maybe the chemistry pieces don't fit together, but if you just look at it on paper, right, we've got 3 superstars matching up with 3 superstars. The rest of the role players on the team are all former superstars or stars or players who we just know are very good in this league who are now playing diminished roles just because of how stacked both of these teams are. And so we know that it's going to be a clash. And I think that people are really just kind of underestimating the ability that the Lakers will have in the finals against that Nets team. I mean, it's just who is going to be able to stop anyone from getting to the basket on the Nets team? I don't see it, right? They don't have a traditional big man. I guess they have Claxton, right? But nobody's thinking Claxton is a defensive stopper like a Giannis or a AD or anything like that. So they don't have that. And I think something that's always important, always crucial when it comes to the playoffs and especially the finals is being able to have an interior defense to stop teams from getting easy baskets. Yes, the 3-point line is a lot more prevalent in today's games, but when you get to the playoffs and you get to the finals, the games start to slow down. Those shots that you normally get throughout the regular season, they're not always there for you because now everybody is playing hard. What it really boils down to is that you've got to be able to stop that. The Nets are going to get their shots off, right? They're gonna get off their 20, 30, whatever 3-pointers a night, and they're gonna shoot a very high percentage and get well into the 110s, 120s. But I think the Lakers' ability to stop them or at least slow them down in regards to getting into the paint is going to be their best bet. I don't see another team that offset the Nets offense any better than the Lakers would be able to. And then when you flip it on the other end and the Lakers are on offense and the Nets are on defense, again, now we're coming back to the Nets. The Nets don't have that interior defense to stop AD from getting to the basket. Who's going to be the one to stop him? KD is, I guess, similar in length and height, but he's way too scrawny to try to body up against the much bigger, now bigger Anthony Davis. LeBron James is going to bully his way to the basket. Russell Westbrook is going to bully his way to the basket. So who do they have to really stop them from doing that, right? It's more so going to be a layup line against them. The Nets are not a good defensive team. They were okay at best last season, you know what I mean? But they're not anywhere near the top 10, top 15 of defenses. There's a point where they were literally historically the worst defense in NBA history. And so it's a big struggle for them. I think that unless Kyrie Irving is committed early enough in the season to get the vaccine and that way he's able to play consistently so they can build that chemistry on defense, I think unless that happens, the Nets are going to struggle even more when it comes to defense. So I know that Kyrie and KD and Harden are going to be an amazing team and they're going to just, I think, run through the East. But I just don't think that the Lakers should be discounted as heavily as they are with the emergence of what we're going to see with AD this year. And then we just also can't count out LeBron as if he isn't one of the top players in this league still. But overall, again, I think it's going to be a very close matchup. I think that it is going to go 7 games, and my goodness, do I hope that it's a 7-game series between these two teams. I think just as NBA fans, we can all be excited about how well that is going to go and how fun that's going to be to watch. But again, if you're making the pick for the Nets, I really don't have a big argument against you because I think that they're going to be a legit bona fide team, and I think that it's really more so a toss-up between these two teams on who's going to win. As opposed to something like the GM poll where it was like 70%, pick the Nets to win and like 17% for the Lakers. So I think it's got to be a lot closer than that for those reasons listed. But anyways, you guys, I hope that you go down into the comment section. Let me know who you think is going to win between the Nets and the Lakers in the finals, or if you just think that another team's going to end up winning it. But anyways, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed my very first video. I definitely plan on making a lot more content. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe as well. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.